Hey everyone, we have gone through quite a few different processes of how we got to this stage for the photographic memory course, and we had a heart-to-heart yesterday. And today I'm finally ready to dive into some neuroplasticity, neuroimmunity tips that are going to help you build your photographic memory. Or if you're just having problems with your memory, and if any of your students are struggling, this is a perfect video for you to watch. So as you see the title, photographic memory is not the search for the Holy Grail. What we're going to do are a lot of quick fixes, or what I like to term brain hacks, for you to get your memory functioning at the best possible rate it can function at before we actually start delving into how to increase it. So what are the areas that you need to look into? We're going to deal with neuroimmunity, and the brain's immunity is really dependent on 5 topics, and we're going to cover them in this video. As soon as I get through this, then feel free to go and fill in your name, buildyourbrain.org, and I will invite you to our Facebook group where I'll be giving you more practical tips and some freebies to download to practice increasing your brain capacity. Okay, so what are the immunities, the ways we can build up the immunities? The first one is really obvious. It's sleep. Unfortunately, most of us don't get enough sleep. And when I said struggling students, this is a big one for the students, especially because a lot of them sleep with some kind of Wi-Fi around them. In my course, we do an entire day's worth going into the biohacking and how to have the perfect sleep environment. Dark rooms are good, no Wi-Fi, any kind of gadget, and just trying to mimic the circadian rhythms. So that's kind of the basic on that. Another study has actually come out to say that melatonin is great to help the sleep, and actually creatine, which helps develop the ATP for brain sleep. And literally you need to sleep to detox the brain. So that's the first thing. The second is diet, also talking about detoxing the brain and building up neuroimmunity. Your diet, you guys, if you've come this far with me, you're way above the normal average American, where I'm saying, stick away from sugars and processed foods. So I want to take it one step deeper, and that is really the vitamins that are going to help you in your diet. So obviously the brain is a fat intensive burning machine, and so we need to feed it with rich omega-3s. And what does that entail? That's like flaxseed oils, obviously everything organic, and fish oils. When we're looking at the fish oils, you've got to make sure that the date that it's not rancid, and fermented cod liver oil is actually the best one for that. Other vitamins, vitamin B12, we spoke about creatine, melatonin, and anything else that is going to boost the brain function. So in terms of detoxing the brain, we do have to touch on alcohol. Alcohol is an absolute neurotoxin, although there have been studies that say, you can do a cup of wine a day or a shot of whiskey. So we're not talking about that. We're talking about where you totally overdose and you have a hangover the next day. That hangover is literally the effects of the neurotoxins on your brain. Okay. That's why I said, parents, you can show this to your students and I'll be the bad cop. They're going to hate me after me talking about no EMFs. And again, that's all in my course, and here about alcohol, but everything in moderation. And then the third thing, before we get into the diet, before we leave diet, keto has been proven to be a beneficial diet for brain function, and obviously because it's high in fatty acids and protein. Okay, so next is a exercise regime. Believe it or not, they have found out that weights, not cardiovascular, but weights actually help the brain, because especially legs, when you're working your leg weights, there has been a research paper that came out to talk about the increase in myokines, which actually help the brain function. So that's a great one. So if you can do that 20 or 30 minutes of that twice or 3 times a week, you're on your way to success. And I didn't want to go too much into the EMFs, but if you just know that any kind of radiation is in direct oscillation against your brain waves, so any kind of anything that's doing Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, 5G, just to steer clear, because that it has there thousands, literally thousands of research papers on exposure for 15 minutes, how it inflames the brain. And inflammation is what leads to long-term inflammation, leads to long-term disease like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, you name it. So we don't want to have any cell phones on our brains, or being under a Wi-Fi router or a cell phone tower for that matter. So I hope that has helped you in terms of the neuroimmunities of different things that you can do, quick fixes, free fixes to get your brain functioning at a high immunity level. And tomorrow we'll start talking about neuroplasticity and the exercises for your brain that will help you with your photographic memory. And again, hope to see you on the other side of this. And if you like this, share this. And as I said, feel free to share this with your students. I'm okay to be the bad cop in this. Have a beautiful day, and we'll talk soon. Bye.